and I'm with you today. Was another extraordinary show of some great brothers here who going to share some great information that's usually uncommon because when something sometimes is usually good for us, they always try to suppress it. But today is the opening of suppression here on this show, Power Talk, because we have with us, and we're going to discuss who is Noble Drew Ali and the teachings of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And when I say of America, I mean of the world, because that's the history. But with us today, who will go into the detail of it, we have here on my left, Brother Kamitu Ube, and we have G.S. Curtis S. Douglas L. to share the teachings and history of the Moorish Science Temple of Noble Drew Ali. Welcome, brothers.
Welcome, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes. So, Kamitu, I'll start with you. Why don't you first explain to the viewers, first of all, who is Noble Drew Ali?
Well, Noble Drew Ali was born in North Carolina in 1886. And he was one who was raised up as a prophet by the will of Allah. Some of them may not acknowledge him as a prophet, but he's our prophet because he talks about issues that surrounds us right here in North America and South America. All right? And so this brother came on the scene in 1913. All right? And he started off in Newark, New Jersey as the Canaanite Temple. All right? And from that time in 1913, he had moved on to Chicago, Illinois, in Cook County, all right, and he had started the Holy Moorish Temple of Science out there at that particular time, right? So again, what was the purpose of the Moorish Science Temple, which we teach every Friday night service and also Sunday school like today, is to uplift fallen humanity, all right? Because who has been more fallen than our people? All right, and this is what he was teaching us, to come from out of our sinful ways. And the sinful ways that he was referring to is terms that was put on us by Europeans. All right, they stole our nationality, they stole our birthright, they stole our language and our culture. All right, and this particular brother, the prophet Noble Drew Ali, was the one to restore all that back for us a people.
Brother L. What could you tell me, tell the viewers about the teachings of Noble Drew Ali? Because there's many who say, or who think, or who don't know the true history of him, who would say, was he a Muslim or is he a Muslim? And I'm saying, well, what can you tell me about that? Because I understand, or I read something on one time where it said he was given his name in Mecca, the holy city of Mecca. I don't know if that's the case or not, by a sheikh who named him. Is that a history of it, or?
Islam. All praises due to Allah. All praises due to Allah. As Moors, we refer to Allah as the cause, this root from which all things have come. Acknowledgement to the Prophet and the forerunner to the Prophet. Honors to you as well for allowing us to be on broadcast. Honors to all those that are behind Billion TV News. I want to greet everyone with a humble word of peace. I'm Brother Curtis Douglas Ill. I'm the Grand Chief of the Moorish Science Temple of America, New York. I'm truly honored to be here today to present information pertaining to Prophet Ali. Specifically, the name that's referred to is Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali. So along those lines, Prophet Noble Drew Ali do have the name as you hear the name Ali. Keep in mind that it is said that Ali is the one that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, passed on information to. So, we here in America elevate the Prophet because of what he did. He is the first to bring Islam and teach Islam to, in other words, one who were born in this land. Specifically, he said the state of North Carolina, 1886. So if you have someone who brings a message to you, they need to come look like you. Right now we have where many think that Jesus is a European, pale skin, hippie looking, with a loin cloth around his groin area based on what the Catholic Church project. But we know that Jesus was a full-blooded Moabite in Hebrew from that bloodline. Specifically, he came from the line of Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph by way of Mary. So when we start to trace ourselves back, original people do original things. They trace themselves back. So we're not making anything up. In more science, we teach that truth cannot change or pass away. The only thing in all of life that cannot change is the truth. You can hide it, but truth have a way of coming back. And the fact of the matter is, even when you go to a court, you said you swear to tell the truth. As more as we do affirm. Prophet Noble Drew knew the truth, that you have a group of people that were stripped of their nationality. So if you think about the word black, you think about the word Negro, colored, etc., or Ethiopian. What people does that, and what landmass that is connected you to? Prophet Noble Drew knew the signs that we were stripped of our nationality, specifically in 1774. In other words, in 1491, Granada was the last strongholds of the Moors. By 3 years later, who was in our land? Christopher Columbus, by way of Ferdinand and Isabella. So once they came into the land, people celebrate Christopher Columbus Day, say he discovered. This means negative, and cover, in other words, that's a bad cover.
Yes.
Right? Just like dis-ease. You no longer have an ease. So with that being said, as Moors, we do teach the truth, and Prophet Noble Drew brought us certain teachings by with the 101 questionnaire, the Circle 7 Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. He said that these teachings were held back. And specifically, I don't want to misquote real quick. He said, the lessons of this pamphlet, the Circle 7 Quran, he said, the lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity, as I am a prophet and the servant is worthy of his hire, you can receive this pamphlet at expense. The reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secret lessons and kept them back from the outside world. When the time appointed by Allah, they loosened the keys and freed these secrets. And for the first time in ages have these secrets been delivered in the hands of Muslims of America. All authority and rights of publishing of this pamphlet of 1927 by Prophet Noble Drew. So he dated it to let you know that he was demonstrating this science in 1927. In regards to your question pertaining to Muslims, he specified, because he's now giving some history lesson as well. In chapter 47 is a very profound page. This is what Prophet Noble Drew said, but before that, 45. In 45, he says what? The divine origin of the Asiatic nation, the fallen sons and the daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate and know of their higher self and lower self. This is the united of the Holy Quran of Mecca, for teaching and instruction all Moorish Americans, etc. The key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nation, the Moors, who were the ancient Moabites, the founders of the holy city of Mecca. 3. He said the Egyptians were the Hammatites, of the direct descent of Mizraim, of Arabians, the seed of Hagar, Japanese and Chinese, the Hindus of India, the descent of ancient Canaanites, Hittites, Moabites, and from the land of Canaan, the Asiatic nations and countries in North, South, Central America, the Moorish Americans and Mexicans in North America, Brazilians, Argentinians, and Chileans in South America, Colombians, Nicaraguans, the native San Salvadorans in Central America, etc. All these are Muslims. Colombians, subhanAllah, the Turks are the true descendants of Hagar, who are the chief protectors of the Islamic creed, beginning from Muhammad I, the founder of the United of Islam, by the command of the great universal God Allah.
So, what are your thoughts on that, Mr. Bay?
Well, with our grand check from the Moorish Scientific,
I mean, that's a great information right there.
yes, it's excellent
something
information.
that
But
people
also,
would have to.
the main thing that people have to learn, that the Moorish Science Temple, the purpose of it, according to the 101s, is the Lord fulfilling humanity. Our Moorish brothers and sisters who refer themselves as Negro, Black, and Colored didn't realize that their nationality and birthright was taken from them in 1774. Now, what I specifically articulate for our people is that Noble Drew talked about what? Nationality and birthright. The European in this country, who's quote unquote referred to as white, which they're not, because we know as Moors, white means pure, pure means God, and God means ruler of the land. So we never associate that word white with the Albions, all right, who lacks pigmentation in the skin. But our birthright has been replaced by birth certificates. All right? Everybody who has been so quote unquote born in the United States under the 14th Amendment, all right, under the censorship, all right, our nationality and birthright have stolen, all right? And so we're not supposed to be having birth certificates today. Birth certificate is the new chattel paper. Like they had our ancestors in chattel slavery. New chattel slavery in these days and time is the birth certificate. They're getting funding for these birth certificates, and we are not getting any of those residual funds that's coming out of these birth certificates. The states are getting $2 million, Noble, and we have the legislative documents to prove that every child that's born with any state or commonwealth, that they get $2 million from the federal government as a fund. But at the same time, those funds are not being directed to us, all right? When you go to the Torah or the Tanakh, it specifically says in Genesis chapter 25 concerning Jacob and Esau, right? And of course, Jacob with his mother conspired to steal who? The birthright of Esau. It didn't say birth certificate. So what is this issue concerning the birth certificate? All right? The birth certificate is the new chattel paper. As has been said, the chattel was on the hands and feet of our ancestors. Now it's been removed. Now it's in our minds. It's in literature. So the new chattel paper or the commercial paper is the birth certificate that's written on a banknote. Look up the American Banknote Company, and they're the ones who print the birth certificates on these banknotes along with the money and any other bonds.
So it's like a mental slavery.
That's right, brother.
It was taken off chains, it was taken off.
That's right.
And then put on the mind.
That's right. Put on the
psychology.
mind. That's right. That's correct,
So
brother.
it still enslaves you.
That's right. Still enslave us, and our people needs to wake up. We're going to wake them up.
Yes.
And tell the truth.
Open the seal, yes. Now I have a question, and I'll direct it to you, brother, Douglas. They said, well, American education system says, and they taught us, even when I was in school, Christopher Columbus discovered America, right? Which we all know is false.
Indeed.
Okay, it's actual fact. He did not discover America. But my thing is this: they say the Moors who was here. Is it so that the Moors visited or were here in the Americas way before Christopher Columbus ever came here?
Most definitely. The Moors were in America way before Columbus even came here. Interestingly enough, there's a publication that is going out. We do have the Moorish Times. There's a publication that's actually going out. Our good brother, Ivan Van Sertima, you know, who's known by a lot of us. And sometimes we really have to lift up and elevate our scholars.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that he did, he mentioned that the Haitians were trading, literally, were the first to be trading. And he mentioned that when you look at bananas, that certain bananas came out of, they thought it came out of Peru. But the Haitians went by way of the Andes Mountains. And he dated all the way back to the 1460 something. So that's way before Columbus. And they were the first to be trading with Africa. He also mentioned that there's a certain species of cotton, right, that came and it actually changed and morphed here in America. But the cotton came originally from Africa in the east. So he was now showing that also in Haiti that this cotton was being traded. So the trade and even cotton originated with us as a people here prior to Columbus. So in other words, all the Roman Empire really did was took over Al-Morocco, the Moroccan Empire.
True.
For instance, the kingdom, Prophet Noble Drali was shown holding up the Moorish flag in the 1920s.
True.
From 1913. So how is it the Moroccan flag, what they call the Moroccan flag today, which we hold as the Moorish flag, was already flying in America prior to 1956,
True.
when the Morocco over there, the kingdom, was under the rule of the French.
True.
So unfortunately, our people do not study history. And this is the empire. Our empire.
Where was that flag being flown at in 1956 in America?
Yes.
In 1920s, 1913, it was being flown in America.
Where in America was it being flown?
In Chicago, everywhere that the Prophet Noble Drali went. So Prophet Noble Drali, in the 100 questions, he asked this questions to the Moors. Remember, keep in mind that the document I'm reading from, our authority, 1928. This is what he asked the Moors in the questions. Every nation have things that they now teach their people. He said, what is our religion? 17, Islamism. He said, is that a new or is that the old time religion? Old time religion. What kind of flag is the Moorish? 19. It is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center.
That's deep.
20. What do the 5 points represent? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. 21. How old is our flag? It is over 10,000 years old.
That's
It's
right.
the oldest flag on the planet. So when one now knows that we are part of an empire, the empire had within it various different nation states, etc. So the European came in and they Christianized everything. For instance, they went to the various different aspects and they renamed it. The Berlin Conference played certain keys as well, where Africa today was mapped at the Berlin Conference.
True.
So now you have the quote unquote individuals who the ancient people prior to the mapping of the Europeans of the continent of Africa would consider people today sellout because they take the contract based on the new nation state that was created by Europeans. So again, it's the same thing that was done here in America.
Yes.
But our people do not study history. Malcolm X said it. We did not land on Plymouth Rock.
Right.
Plymouth Rock landed on us. So in Keys, Malcolm was already telling us we were already here.
Exactly.
Malcolm found that out.
But you know what gets me is the purpose effort of creating an education system, knowingly that is not true, but yet teach it to the American people. You know, of course, we understand the purpose of it is to create a new story of, like you said, truth. You can hide it, but it will always come back through. So we understand that a system of education was created of a new history to cover of original history.
True.
Right? But it's just hurting to see after so many years we find the facts of this to be true, and then so many generations went to the grave with the belief of this.
Yes.
You know, and that's the problem. And kids today, even in elementary schools, are still being taught this.
May I say something? Ashe Ivan Rinsonoma, he's an ancestor. He wrote a book called They Came Before Columbus. He showed you Mansa Musa. And the brother came over here. This was in the 1300s, way before Christopher Columbus. But I also want to make mention of Leonard Jeffries. I shaped it, to that brother, because he was one of the brothers in Black Studies Department, all right, in City College, where he was trying to get our history curriculum.
So we're going to take a quick break and come right back.
Yes.
Hello, viewers in America and across the world. This is Eric Stevenson, host of the Power Talk show on Millennium News 24. Tune in every week at Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, American Time, and also on all of your iOS and Android devices. Also on Smart TV and Apple, Amazon, and worldwide through Verizon Satellite. And also worldwide through www.millenniumtvnews.com. And that's www.millenniumnews24.com. And through our social media, Millennium News. See you there. Welcome back to Millennium News 24 Power Talk. I'm your host, Eric Stevenson, and we're here with Kamita Rue Bay and Brother G.S. Curtis, Douglas L., and we're getting some information and history and knowledge on the Morris Science Temple of America. So welcome back. Kamita Rue, you want to finish?
Yes. Leonard Jeffries, Professor Leonard Jeffries in City College in the city of New York, was trying to put together a curriculum in history for our people so people can learn their history, all right? So we recognize that the history that's going on in the school system today is to keep the European in power, all right? The European descendants, who they are today, because when Irish Day Parade came along, Biden, the president that all folks voted for some years ago, went to Ireland, all right? But yet they lie to the public and say, oh, the American people, or we Americans. But if we are Americans, as you say you are, why are you going back to Ireland to pay homage to Ireland? All right? So there's a lot of misinformation and lies is being told to our people at large, and we're going to be here teaching our people their history and the truth. That's what I wanted to say. Peace.
Okay. We have that. Brother Douglas, Noble Drew Ali, when he was here amongst us here in America, did he travel throughout the whole nation, or was he focused like mainly in some parts and not others?
Beautiful question.
Did this message spread throughout?
Yeah, beautiful question. Very significant. When one hear the appellation, the name of Moors, you always hear Il or Bey attached to their name. The significance of that is Prophet Noble Drew Ali had to make sure that the fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation here in North America, specifically the ones who were branded black, Negro, and colored, they were all over. So he made it his mission from 1913. He did his hollow original in Newark, New Jersey. From Newark, New Jersey, he said that the laws in Chicago was more favorable for him. And from 1925 to 1928, there's a transformation of his organization. By 1928, he created what is called the Corporation of Religious Affidavit Organization, or authority. In two places, the authority is emphasized. And he says, I, Noble Drew Ali, do solemnly swear that at the meeting at the Moor Science Temple of America held at Chicago in the county of Cook in the state of Illinois on the 20th day of July, AD 1928. For that purpose, the following persons were appointed chiefs of the Moor Science Temple of America according to the rules and usage of such: Mealy Il, Small Bay, Lovett Bay, and Foreman Bay. The Moor Science Temple of America derived its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad to propagate the faith and extend the learning and the truth of the great prophet of Ali in America, to anoint, appoint, and consecrate missionaries of the prophet, and to establish the faith of Muhammad in America. And said Moor Science Temple of America adopted as its corporate name the following: Moor Science Temple of America, and its said meeting, a fee and acted as presiding officer, subscribed and sworn before me the 20th day of July, AD 1928. It's signed Drew Ali, Robert W. Pinot, Notary Public, and it says, see Herds of Vice Statutes 3236, or appoint, anoint of warden vestry in whatever name that they may adopt. Ones might be confused and think that we are a religious 501c3. No, we came under the Herds of Vice Statute, the Religious Act of 1871. Specifically, even it is said that the Vatican in 1929 imitate everything that Prophet Noble Drew Ali did. So it was his goal and his mission to make sure that everyone, he said at one point that he went to the South, and that it was the Asiatic, his people, doing the things that allude to slavery. He said that administration at his time was more wise prepared. He called on all true Americans, loyal sympathizers, etc., to help him in the great missionary work to uplift his people, because, like, literally, the issue is, once we were branded, the first generation was enslaved. After that first generation died off, because they were now going to these schools, because whoever conquered you cannot teach you. It is not in their interest to teach you that they raped your mother, they removed your father from the house. To this day, the projects, Section 8 housing affirms that, where literally the father is not allowed in the house. The woman is allowed to have more children, and the state off, whatever that state off, they now become the daddy to those children. So we have what is called religious custodian of records, as opposed to the custodian, the state. So if you're not in the European state, that's the issue. We're not European. Prophet Noble Drew Ali emphasized the fact that we are giving Christianity back. The first thing that they did is that they stripped us of our nationality, which is Moorish American, because we're descendants of Moroccans born in America. Why are we Moorish Americans? We're descendants of Moroccans born in America. It says, how did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans? By teaching them to be themselves. An apple is an apple. You can't look at an apple and call it an orange. Because someone else comes along and called an apple an orange, it does not change the nature of the thing. So our people, unfortunately, in these music, these rappers are now glorified. They're now given an idol, i.e. American Idol. So whoever the pattern, who you put in society to become your pattern, unfortunately the children follow, because what? It's follow the money trend. It's the Pied Piper. The children were led away by the Pied Piper based on what? The music, the amusement. So now that you have amusement and you're entertaining the people, you now enter and you allow the Dajjal, you allow the Satan, you allow the adversary to come right on in because it's on the frequency. So it's just like anything else. What's the hook? Every music today, they have a hook, line, and sinker. But unfortunately, the Prophet Noah Drawley made sure that his words, the great hollow, on the Liberty Bell here in America, in Pennsylvania, it said, he shall hollow in the 50th year. Quoted Leviticus 25. So Prophet Noah Drawley in the 50th year from 1863, think about Abraham Lincoln, the proclamation, to now the 50th year, 1913, point and exact, he now come hollowing in Newark, New Jersey. New Ark, New Covenant, New Jersey, new clothing. He's now that new wine being poured into what? The new wine skin. So he said the religion, Islam, we're going back to Islam. We're not Christian. We fell as Moors. You can't get up as anything else other than what we felt as other people. You can't get up calling yourself black. You can't get up so, you fell as whatever your mother named you. Somebody knock you over the head, you unconscious. Now you get up. Or they call you Willie. So now, these people, Europeans, who don't even look like you, they call you Willie. You know what I'm saying? They take care of you. So now you feel a loyalty because if someone comes and says, oh, aren't you so-and-so? You're like, man, I don't even know you. Oh, you don't remember me. Because what? You have amnesia. We have a people who are on the state of amnesia. They've been branded. Like literally, you used to brand the cow, but the branding today is European psychology.
True.
You talk about the Iron Hand oppression. Why did Allah send Jesus to this world? To rescue the Israelites from the Iron Hand oppression from the pale-skinned nations of Europe who were governing a portion of Palestine at that time.
Yeah.
The pale-skinned nation of Europe is doing the same thing today. They go to and fro the earth seeking whom they may devour.
That's right.
So once you're ignorant of your culture, they're not going to cultivate you in their lab. Genetically experimentation, just like you have what genetically modified food today, but it doesn't make it food. These are poisons, but they call it food. These are food-like substance. They give it an alternative. It's just like pro-right, pro-life. It's a non-issue. We should never make non-issues issues. Everybody have, like the brother said, brother came to you, you have the right at birth.
That's right.
Now you certify something that is yours organically.
That's right.
It's your right. It's like air. You got to pay me to breathe that air. This is some really cool, beautiful, good smelling air. When you now know you pollute the air.
True. True.
So
also, you have to keep in mind, Barack Obama was the president one time in this country, right? He said something that we all should remember, because you touched on something, Brother Curtis Douglas Ill. Barack Obama was being attacked because his father was Muslim from Kenya. When Barack Obama was being attacked, he let the cat out the bag. Most of the times, the majority of the people is not going to catch the cat out the bag. Only the ones who's going to be conscious enough to catch it. What did Barack Obama said in his defense against those who were attacking him at the time, that the fact that his father was Muslim? What did he say? He talked about the Tripoli Treaty that showed that the United States was not founded on Christianity, but it was founded on Islam.
He said that?
Yes. Barack Obama said that. And the only reason why...
Well, I mean, according to definitely what the brother L is saying here, and according to what is the history,
yes,
this is what we're finding out.
Yeah. Listen,
it goes beyond the Christianity.
Exactly.
And our forefathers, far as we could read of any records found, takes us into them being Muslim.
True.
yes.
True.
Or in Islamic nations.
And the White House, which needs to be clear in the minds of our people, the White House is not a house in reference to Europeans who's running our house. The White House is ancient. It's called Heteru in ancient Kemet, that the Europeans mislabeled it as Egypt. We never call our land Egypt. All right? One. Then it moved from that side all the way on the west side of West Africa, and it was called Casablanca, which is Spanish, Moorish Spanish for White House. Now it's over here.
Is that what it means?
Yes.
Casablanca? Okay.
Yes.
For White House? Oh.
Yes.
So why do you think they named the White House here?
That's the Moors. They're following our pattern. They came in our house. Like the word Bey means governor, right? So if Bey means governor, who do you think they're using the word governor today? They won't realize it because, as Brother Curtis L. stated, which is true. They changed the language. They changed the names. So you don't recognize yourself because they changed the name.
So so Noble Drew Ali pretty much came as a restorer of truth.
True,
To
exactly.
our natural
Yes.
self of who we are.
He's teach us to be ourselves.
Yeah, to come back to the true knowledge of self.
Yes.
She knows himself. That's
Out
what he
of
taught.
being
That's right.
an amnesia, state of amnesia, and
That's right.
so on.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
So the thing about the White House, so you don't think when they named the White House in America, it was related to a race? Because the concept
That's
of
a
being
very
related to a race?
well, you know why it seemed like it's related to race?
Yeah.
Because of the fact that the Moors call them Europeans. The Moors have never called Europeans white. You have to comprehend why did the word white came in as an issue. That was to purge themselves away from their biological condition. What is their biological condition? It's called albinism.
You know,
That's-
hold that right there. We're
Yes.
going to take a quick break, come right back and finish from albinism.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Hello, viewers in America and across the world. This is Eric Stevenson, host of the Power Talk show on Millennium News 24. Tune in every week at Sunday 1 p.m. Eastern Time, American Time, and also on all of your iOS and Android device. Also on Smart TV and Apple, Amazon, and worldwide through Verizon Satellite. And also worldwide at www.com and at www.millenniumnews24.com and your social media, Millennium News.
We have to write it down.
Welcome back to Power Talk of Millennium News 24. We're here in this great conversation dealing with the Morris Science Temple of America. So albinism, Dimitri Rule, let's finish from right there.
Yes. Well, first of all, the European has been afflicted in his skin with albinism. All right? And
Which means
albinism means that he lacks pigmentation in his skin.
Okay.
That's what albinism is. But when you go into a dictionary, because I'm into linguistics very heavy for 40 years, they will put the word white next to albinism, and that's not true. Albinism have nothing to do with being white. Albinism has to do with a biological skin disease that causes them to have skin cancer in the sun. Where melanated people, which is us, right? Because we never called ourselves black. We were a melanated people, and we had names for ourselves. And the word black have nothing to do with us. That's another European terminology. We as a people never called ourselves that. You won't even find the word black, right, in African language or our ancient languages. Why? Because that came out of the Europeans, all right, which is Indo-European, when you look in the dictionaries. But again, they're going to put the word white. And the question is, what white are they talking about? Are they talking about W-I-T-H-E or W-I-G-H-T? Like in Dwight Eisenhower. That word white, right, is the word that refers to one who's sort of like a miser, all right? One who's stingy. That's what that word white is. But they changed it from that to W-H-I-T-E. But albinism is the condition. Noble Drew Ali had taught us not to amalgamate ourselves with the pale-skinned nations of Europe. We are a pure and clean nation, all right? And this is what our brothers and sisters are doing, laying down with albinism and cursing your seed, right? Because that's not our fig tree. We should not be worshiping fig trees of a stranger, putting them over our own blood. All right, Noble? So it's very important to be aware of that.
Yeah. So, okay, Brother Douglas Al. So how do you suppose people who may be listening or who may listen to this conversation at a later date on YouTube or whatever to hear what we're talking about today, and the original people who want to know or get true knowledge of their self? They went to school, many went to the college and universities, and never come across what we're talking about today.
Indeed.
So where would they result to? First say, you know what? I mean, yeah, you could start reading books by different authors, but you know, authors' books are opinionated.
Indeed.
You know, you could read a book because it's titled The Great Person, written by Steve whoever, and you think it means that because the title says it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And you still got to know the background, who the author is, who's writing it.
Correct.
True.
Correct.
You know, so we can't just go by authors and titles.
True.
But I know Noble Drew Ali, what he wrote was from the experience of our struggle in history. So, you know, that's why you see Morris Science Temple was never given mainstream light, because they never wanted our people to be freed.
Correct.
As Brother Bay talked about, the shackles being taken from off us physically to mentally.
Correct.
So what would be a direction people would need to go to in acquiring this knowledge of self?
That's a very beautiful question. One of the things that Prophet Noble Drew Ali emphasized was that we need to uphold the Constitution. And not only do we uphold our divine constitutions and bylaw, but he was speaking also towards the Constitution here in America. Why? Because America is considered the great experimentation, right? It is now said, when you look at that dollar bill, you're going to see two seals on the dollar bill. Look at that dollar bill. Right there is the Great Seal. The Great Seal confirms that this is Al-Marak. On that left, you never see the president speak on that seal. Mm-hmm. So the conjunction, or the joining word, the Great Seal of the United States. Mm-hmm. So he connects it, and just like you would fold a coin, mm-hmm. you're going to start to see the obverse and the reverse of the coin. Mm-hmm. So two nations are on that. And America is that nation now where the lion and the lamb is going to sit down, and none will be harmed when morning come. Meaning, you're going to have everybody through Islam being taught universally here in America by way of the creed of love, truth, peace, and justice. We're going to, for the first time historically, have a group of people sit together. The Moorish Science Temple of America, Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, if you have race pride and love your nation, and you think your condition can be better, he says, join the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you will have power to redeem your race. Why? He's going to give you a flag. Every nation needs to have a flag that's connected to the land. He connects us back to what? An empire. And he connects us back to what? The religion of Muhammad, peace be upon him. So he made the connection. Now it brings you out of the jurisdiction of the Christian names attached to us. That's why he said, annex il or bay to your name. So when you annex il or bay to your name, no different from the nation of Islam, you go through what? The X, i.e. the unknown. And then you now show that you did like your shahada, or you went through an experience to now connect back to Islam. But the issue now, you connect back to Islam, but here in North America, how did you connect back to your ancestral lineage without a breakage? It's through adoption. Prophet Noble Drew Ali to Moors, he is our father in a sense that through the great God Allah, he is the author that now bring that information. So he adopted, i.e. redeemed. The word redeeming is a buy back. He reclaimed, so you can what? Proclaim. He says, Act 6 of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Divine Constitutions and Bylaw, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali says what? With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we're teaching our people their nationality and the divine creed, that they may know that they're not part, that they are part and partial of this said government, and know that they're not Negroes, colored folks, black people, are Ethiopians as well, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and last until 1865 during the time of slavery. Slavery cannot be practiced in America today. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. What's the sinful ways? We practice hate among each other. That's how the European was able to come in. We prefer a stranger, a strange thought before our own blood. We dishonor our ancient fathers and mothers. That's the issue. You cannot disrespect the ancient. We have customs to now it become what? Customary. The first school we go to is what? Primary. Prime meaning first and Mary school. Going back to the school question, right? So now if you go to a school built by a European, a good Catholic school, you're going to get what? A good Catholic education. But to us as melanated beings, that's a bad education. Why? Because we're being taught by the colonists. The colonists cannot teach us. Why? Because they're recessive. We have the skin for the sun. Sun-kissed people. So we are what? Kemet. as in chemistry. But now we become the mystery. So Kemet, i.e. the ancient name for what? Egypt. We know it goes back to Hikupta, etc. But let's just deal with Egypt, i.e. the Gypsies. The people who now says what? The great Pharaoh, chapter 47. Prophet Noble Drew Ali showed us the connection in chapter 47. In the movie National Treasure, right? With Nicolas Cage. Mm-hmm. It says what? The secret, when they went to the Library of Congress, it was on what? Page 47, right? Page 47 is code word for what? Chapter 47. The truth is hidden in plain sight. This is what it says in chapter 47. Chapter 47, it starts off by basically saying, Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites of the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line, the dominion of Amexem, ancient name, the true first and divine name of Africa, the divine of the land between what? Father and son. He said the dominion of Cush, northeast, southeast Africa, and northwest, southwest Africa was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from what? The pharaohs of Egypt to settle the inhabitants of West Africa. They were the what? Founders of the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan, seeking new homes. Their dominion inhabited extend from the northeast, southwest Africa across the great Atlantis. At that time, it was all land. The great earthquake or the great flood mentioned in these holy books, it didn't even happen yet. Atlantis is not underwater. Man from Atlantis. For those who cannot age ourselves here, remember that, right? The guy, man from Atlantis, underwater. From across the great Atlantis landmass, even onto present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Island, Jamaica, Haiti, etc. Atlantis Island. So now when we start to call the islands what the Europeans call it, that's the issue.
True.
A European give you a Christian name, that don't make you a Muslim. What's your Muslim name? Islam? So he says what? Before the great earthquake, which caused the great Atlantic Ocean, now we're seeing water. Now we're seeing water. The Moors were the navigators of the seven seas. That red Corvette was a ship first. It was the fastest ship on the waters. Now that it's moving on land, you call the red Corvette what? People know the red flag. The Moorish flag, the red fez, etc. So we're going to drop the science, i.e. the knowledge. He said the river Nile was dredged. The same way they built roads today, we built what? Waterways. And the same way the Mississippi is connected what? To the Nile.
Is that so?
Yes, it is.
Right here in America?
Yes, it is. Show that it was all connected. It was all one landmass. So we go all the way back to when it was one landmass. That's right. The kind of history we teach as more science. Not the Johnny come lately. You know what I'm saying? No offense to Johnny. You know what I'm saying? Whoever you are. He said the river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaoh. He didn't say ancient pharaohs of Egypt. In order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade, and it was extend eastward from the river Nile, westward across the great Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored people attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the what? The human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation, the holy land of Canaan. What your ancient forefathers are, you are today without doubt or contradiction.
That's right.
There is no one who's able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers unless his power extends beyond the great universal God, Allah himself.
That's right.
These holy and divine laws are from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly what? Preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they will learn to open their meanings and guide under the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. That's why, as more, we go back to the creed of the ancient principles. This is my brother, and I can only love my brother. But the issue is, we've been practicing hate, and we never saw division, because we knew inside we were one. The word white, pure intent, inside. White means purity, purity means God, God means real. When he cut your skin, you see first white, then you see blood.
And that's the ancient teaching understood. So now when you look at the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, he said free white people. He said it does not mean Caucasian race.
It says that right in there.
He tells you. He says what? Even the Moors of Spain were considered white. White is a status.
That's right. Not
Unbeknownst to most, it's a status.
a pigmentation.
The word black, when you study, Google the word black. Black means black. It means pale.
That's right.
Facts. As Moor, we're scientists. We study law. That's called Moor's Science Temple of America. We first got to know the science. Why? You got to experiment. Through the experimentation, you start to now know. Then when we say religion, we're not speaking about dogma. We're speaking about your way of life. You got to connect back to the ancient way of life.
True.
No link can be broken because somebody's going to come and tell you a lie. So now the trickery of who? Yaqub, trick knowledge, was to tell a lie. Now that lie is being taught in the public school system, which becomes the public food system, i.e. Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber. And our people, the only way you can be ruled by a recessive man, he got to make you dumber than his recessiveness.
So we're going to take a quick break.
Yes.
We kind of heated up. We'll be right back.
Right.
Stay tuned. Hello, viewers in America and across the world. This is Eric Stevenson, host of the Power Talk show with Indian News 24. Tune in every week at Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, American Time, and also on all of your iOS and Android devices. Also on Smart TV and Apple, Amazon, and worldwide through Verizon satellite, and also worldwide at www.millenniumnews.com and that's www.millenniumnews24.com and on social media on Millennium News. See you there. Welcome back to Millennium News 24 Power Talk. I'm your host, Eric Stevenson. I'm with you as we're moving on to the final part of the show. We just heard from Brother Douglas L. on that great history that is such a great perspective added on to what we've been getting most of our lives. And now to hear something like this and you wonder why it's not in our school systems, because it would probably free more of us from shackles of ignorance to do other things and not be a walking slave. But moving forward, Khalid Rule here. I'm going to do that, chime in and add on to this here.
Yes. I think it's very important for those viewers out there who are listening to us here, because there are those out there who are adverse to what we are saying because they don't want the truth to be known. Mm-hmm. The first thing they want to do is use terms like, oh, these guys are talking racial hatred, all right? No. And we are not talking anything about racial hatred. Well, we're expressing the fact that our nationality and our birthright have been taken from our people through this whole Western Hemisphere. All right? And we are looking to restore that back by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, who taught us through his literature that he have left for us to study. There's a saying that the Prophet has stated. He said, in order to change the people, you must change their literature. That is the most crucial part of being educated. The educational system, literature, needs to be changed so we can change our people. All right? So I think it's very important that we cannot continue to be subject to racial slurs and other terms that does not define our people and who we are. Noble Jew Ali taught us to be ourselves. We are not ourselves today. We are someone else. All right? And because we someone else, not on physically, but in the mind is where it starts at, and in the heart where it starts at. So again, we do teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. All right? In this system, there is no justice at all with our people. You can see that we're getting shot down in the street by the police. We are not getting the proper justice in the court systems like we should be getting. All right, we have an economic restraints on us that we are suffering. And so these are the issues that we do address. And in the future, as we come back onto the show, we're going to be addressing these issues so we can wake our people up. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Brother Douglas, I want to ask for those who may be out there who's of the Islamic faith, who may not be able to understand properly when you say Prophet Noble Drew Ali versus the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, how that comes into relation.
Beautiful, beautiful. Again, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is considered the last prophet, the seal of all the prophets. It's been misunderstood when we use the word prophet. First and foremost, in any language, I was taught in college, you do not make cross-cultural judgment.
True.
One of the reasons when you go to court, they say you need what? A jury of your peers.
True.
Moors in America, when you have a nationality, your peers are other Moors in America, living according to the principles of love, truth, peace, and justice.
Excellent.
If you don't have that, it's already disqualified. And you could shut down the court right there because they are assuming that they are your peers. A European is not my peer.
Exactly.
I have kingly hair. You know what I mean? I have an afro, right? So now, their hair, or some say fur, it moves towards the ground. Ours move in a spiral towards the sun. Yeah. Everything with the life essence in it move towards the sun. Just like a tree. It starts to move towards what? The higher degrees. And that's what the fez is symbolic of what? Those degrees, right? The tassel, it rotates. When the Europeans get their fez, the Shriners, it's locked down. It can't move. It can't move. Because they don't have those degrees. No disrespect to them, but they got their degrees from Moors. Truth be told. So now, in regards to Prophet Muhammad and us named Prophet Noble Drew Ali, in Moor science, the 101 defines the word prophet. It says a prophet is a thought of Allah. So once you look at the definition, you have to speak to the ones using the word from a cultural perspective, because truth can't change or pass away. So a prophet is Allah's thought. Allah's thought are truth. It can't change.
I was just saying that in the sense or perspective of Muslims of the Islamic faith, as Moors are as well, because of the history of who Moors are, right? They were the Muslims who brought light to Spain, who gave the European their existence from how many hundreds of years. But meaning like, because a lot of people would ask, and I'm sure as they're listening, they're going to say, because a lot of Muslims who listen to the show is going to ask, when you say prophet, they're not understand how we're speaking here.
Yes.
But they're going to look at it from the perspective of prophet receiving a scripture.
Okay.
The Quran, right?
Yes.
Yes, I'll let you take it from there. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm going to add on to that.
Yes.
You're gonna,
yes. Beautiful. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, brought information that civilized all of Arabia and beyond to this day. Now, look at the people as a nation prior to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and after. So now, today we have over 1 billion Muslims all over the world. Now, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, prophet was Prophet Muhammad. Let's be clear about that. So when we read, it says what? The Moor Science Temple of America derived its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad. That's speaking about Prophet Muhammad.
So that's just so people have an understanding of what we're talking about here.
Yes.
Because when they hear something being said, they're not understanding the context and the way it's being spoken.
Yes.
You
That's
know?
why I said I went back to everything within context, right? So until we really start to listen.
And they got to realize, Noble Drew Ali's been to the holy city of Mecca.
Yes.
And
the name Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali. So when you look at his Muslim name, he's not at variance. Now, the issue in America, he have a message from the great God Allah to redeem his people who are now branded Negro, black, and colored. Right. So even though you have black Muslim, that's the issue. There's no such thing as a black Muslim for Moors.
Right.
Because black means dead, politically speaking, in the eyes of the law. Civilita mortus. But they know our people don't read. The first thing Prophet Noble Drew Ali says what? Dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons. They're for good,
for all those who love Jesus. We know that Jesus is Isa in the East. But because our people have been Christianized, you know you're under the Christian issue.
Right.
Because you've been knocked over the head. They said, look, either you convert to Christianity or we kill you over here.
Right.
That's not happening in Arabia today. That can't happen
And
in
they said,
Arabia.
like in slavery, they took the Quran away and gave
you
the Bible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's
So like you had no choice. The children coming in,
Yes.
there was no more Quran.
Correct.
Yeah.
What they now have is the Bible. They don't know the Bible too is their history book. They're not being taught that. So Prophet Noble John says, so he gave you the definition for the word Jesus. Now he said Jesus means justice.
That's right.
So what's justice? Justice is law.
That's
And
right.
law governs all events.
That's right.
So he's a scientist. So he's not teaching, but unfortunately, ones don't have the linguistic, they don't have the definition of the word.
you go.
Define the nation. Definition.
That's what I'm
right?
talking
so
about. Yeah.
When Webster came over here, to break away from Rome, the Europe influence of the English language, the Anglos and the Saxons, he created the Webster dictionary, diction words, right? So if you're going to use these words and you will spell, you be. We're human beings. So based on what you now read, so that's what I said, they're readers. Read is a prefix for the word Adam. He's bringing you back into the families of nation. You can't be a part of the family of nation with black attached to you. It's a brand.
True.
He's right. Go ahead, finish. Yeah.
So there's a difference between Rasul and Nabi
True.
in Islam, right? So Prophet Noble Ali is Rasul.
True.
So we're not in any way infringing upon or looking to insult our brothers in the East. There's a misunderstanding. He said there's misunderstanding as to what the Prophet's message is about. He said it's very few that know the truth. Why? The second ones know the truth. They try to do what? Remove your mic. They try to what? Take you out. But what does Moors know? Moors know this. Time never was when man was not. We live in the now.
That's right.
Once you now know that you're spirit man, spirit means you cannot kill a spirit. We don't die, we multiply. So once you put the spirit of truth out there, you cannot kill truth. Once an ideal is now mature, it's about to give birth. And it's been given birth in 1928 when he says our authority, Cook County recorded on book, it's done when he created a religious demonstration. So now it goes back to what? The First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or the press or the right of the people to peaceably to assemble and to petition government for a redress of grievances.
I like to add
So
on.
once you know these things and what your religion bring you through, that's why the Nation of Islam has been so potent. Because when all is said and done, they're moving as an organized body politic,
That's
a
right.
group of
That's
people.
But I think that's why perspectives is important that we hear from everyone, because you know what? It's all saying the same thing, that we was lost of a knowledge, religion,
That's
culture,
right. That's right.
and we have to retain
Yes.
who we are in order to have our true strength and be here. But Bay, I'm gonna let you finish as we close out.
Yes, but first of all, I think it's very important that our Muslim brothers from the East, y'all didn't help us. I'll put that out there right now. I'm annoyed with Muslims from the East. I'm going to tell you why. Because in 1453, this is what the Prophet teaches us. Our Prophet, Noble Ali, be clear. In 1453, Muhammad took off the head of Satan in the Byzantine Empire and took it over and established Islam in that area. But while that was going on, and that was in 1453, what happened in 1492? The Moors in 1492 did not get help from the Muslims from the East. The Moors had to run out of Spain and Portugal in Europe and ran to the West and to the islands. They did not get help from the Muslims from the East. And so now, where was Islam here in the West? Where was it?
We're gonna wrap up.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very important to realize that we have no help. So now when we acknowledge Islam, we're going to be criticized because we're not following you. Well, where were you for, what, a millennium?
Well, I think that's why they say a messenger will be raised amongst the people.
Exactly.
So that we don't have to worry about others to do for us, because Allah will raise amongst us someone to continue that
Like Farrakhan.
revival for us,
Like
and
Farrakhan.
many other great leaders. So we're going to thank you all for tuning in here on Power Talk. great discussion. We would always invite others of other perspectives, but truth is truth, like Brother Douglas L. said when he talked about the orange and apple. You could call an apple orange, but the fact is it true? You know, the apple will be the apple and the orange will be the orange. So truth will be truth, and we'll continue to stand on truth. But we don't deal with falsehood here, and I won't do it on my show. I believe to deal with integrity and truth in whatever we talk about. So thank you for listening and tuning in to Power Talk. We look forward to more great shows next time around, and we'll continue to bring great guests. So thank both of your brothers, Islam, for both coming on and sharing to the people about the Moorish Science Temple of America. Thank you all. See you next station. Next week. Good job, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, my
Good
brother.
job. He's even heated.